Let us begin with the word of prayer. Father Yah, we do bless and thank you for your mercies, your kindness, and your graciousness. We thank you once again for the opportunity to provide teaching concerning this course in Hebrew language. We pray that as we delve into dealing with the review, that there will be in the learning process, that the students will be able to obtain a better understanding concerning the language and concerning also the translation. We do thank you in advance in the mighty name of Yahshua. Amen.
Amen.
All right. How's everyone today?
Fine by His grace.
All right. So we are at the close of this course. However, I do find it necessary that we spend some time going over and reviewing some of the lessons and also the homework assignments. I was informed that some of the assignments had some challenges, and I wanted to make sure the assignments that you have that you're. So I want to assignment lesson 4. I want to look at the assignment. That particular one that we had, it was dealing with feminine words. So basically taking a Hebrew masculine word and making it into a feminine word. And also we were looking at translating. And so I want to go over that. And I need to know how many of you found lesson 4 to be a bit of a challenge as far as working through the homework.
Mm-hmm.
I got through some of it, but
Okay.
then I got, at a certain point, I was having a hard time.
Okay. So what I want to have you to do, if you can point out the section that you found to be most challenging. And then what I'm going to do, we're going to look at it together and then navigate through it so that you'll be able to complete the assignment and be successful with it. Now, when it comes to the feminine words, when we saw the differences between the masculine and the feminine, with the feminine, what do you recall is the major difference between a masculine word and a feminine word? What do you recall? I don't want to just tell you, but I just want to find out what you remember. What do you recall the differences in those two?
Put the top on it.
Okay, you mentioned you put the tav on where do you put it?
End of it.
Okay, yeah. Tav on the end of it is definitely one of the letters that's used. We put the tav on the end of a word. Let's see. For feminine, I'm looking for an example for that. Another letter that we used that is used more often at the end of a feminine word. Anybody know what that one is?
Was it the hay?
It's the hey, yes. The hey is the letter that is used more often for making a distinction between a masculine word and a feminine word. For example, if we look at the word for, Let's take the word good, for example. Who knows what the word good is or how to pronounce that word in Hebrew when you hear it, the word good? What is that?
Torah.
Now, tov is the masculine. Tovah is the feminine. The reason why it is tovah as a feminine because it ends with the hey on the end of that word. So what I want to do, I'm going to go ahead and write that out so that you can again see the difference. So we have what is called the chet. And we have the wav. We have the bait. Then underneath here, wav. Bait. So up top, right here, this is tov, tet, wav, and the bait, tov. Okay, this is the masculine. Okay, I'm gonna put a little M right next to it. So this is the masculine, tov. You have tov here also, but you have the hey. So it would be tovah right here. The hey is what will make it feminine. Okay? So this is one of the letters that's used more often than any other time when you will see the feminine description, it will be with the hey. Okay? That's important to know. So, for example, when you go to lesson 4 and you look at section A of lesson 4, and it has feminine words. Let's see. Do you all have any of your notes for this here? Okay. So what we're going to do, I'm going to go ahead and write out. I'm going to write out a couple words, and we're going to make them feminine. So in this assignment for lesson 4, this particular assignment under the exercises, it has section A. Section A is write the feminine of the following words. And then there are 6 words that are given. Actually, no, there are actually 10 words that are given, 6 on one page and 4 on the next page. So we're going to look at these words. Actually, I just used one of them, which was tov, and we made it tovah. Now, the next word we want to look at is going to be, let's see. This is Yahuah. Now the word, here's one. This word means beautiful. It's the yod and the pei and the hey. Now this word right here, Yahuah, yod, the pei has both the p and the ph sound, which is the f. So this would be Yahuah. It's spelled exactly the same, both in the masculine, which ends in the hey, and it's the same in the feminine, ending in the hey. In this case, this one right here, there is no difference. The hey is used both, and this is a special case in this instance. In most instances, when you see the hey, it's always with reference to the feminine. But in both instances, when you want to call something nice or beautiful, whether it's in the masculine, it's spelled the same way. Okay? So this is one of those instances where it's spelled the same way. However, I'm going to use a different word. Here's one. This is, let me see if you all will figure that out. This one. Okay. I made it too close. So, all right. See this word right here? What's this letter? Does anybody recognize this letter? When it has the line and then a little slant, that's called the Zayin. Zayin. So for letters that you don't recognize, you want to make sure that you go and you have your lettering system. You want to have this. You want to always have this available next to you. So if you don't know what all of the letters are, you want to recognize them. That's what's very important that you want to do. You want to make sure that you recognize all of the Hebrew letters when you see them, so you'll know how to pronounce them. So that particular letter here, that one is called the Zayin or Zan. Zan is the name for it. The script that I'm presenting it in is in the block script, Hebrew Aramaic script. So when you look on the sheet, you'll see where it says the Zayin. Okay, you see that? The Zayin. That letter gives you the Z sound. Okay? The Z sound. Now, what about the next letter here? What letter is this? Anybody recognize this letter? Right here.
No, I don't remember the name of it, but isn't that like a...
Look it up. You got the sheet. If you have a sheet there, yeah.
She doesn't have it on there.
That one, yeah, that one does have it on there.
Oh, I can't see it.
You have to look for it. That's the Kuf. It's the Kuf.
No, I mean, I can't see it because I don't have.
This would be,
okay, I see it now.
this would be the sun on the horizon.
Okay, I see it.
It would look like a Q. In the Paleo Hebrew script, this looks like a Q, and I'm going to show you what that looks like. This would be for it right here. It looks like a Q. Block script right here on the horizon going down. If I put it this way, you can see it looks like the sun on the horizon going down. See that? That's the Kuf, right? So you want to get used to these letters. Become very, very familiar with them. Can't tell you how important that is in understanding the language. You want to be able to recognize these letters. So we have the Kuf here, and this letter right here. This is a block script. Anybody remember what this letter is? This is the Nun. I want you to look at the Nun under the block script. And the Paleo script for this, Paleo script for the Nun looks like a squiggly. It looks something like this. Or it looks like this. This is the Nun right here, and this is the Nun. This is the more ancient Paleo Hebrew script of the Nun right here. And this is a later script of the Nun. This is the earlier, this is the little bit later. But these are both Paleo scripts here. So you see how it looks like a N right here? That's where the N comes from, Nun. But this is a block script of it, okay? So you want to be familiar with the different scripts. So you may need to go back and look at that. when you're doing your homework, you want to keep this with you so that you can recognize the letters and then be able to pronounce phonetically. If you don't recognize the letters, you won't be able to phonetically pronounce the word at all. Okay? So that's first and foremost when you're navigating through the homework. Okay? If you're still having trouble identifying the letters, then you want to make sure you keep this with you. Sometimes it takes a little while to be able to readily identify it. So you want to just keep this handy. This is like your ABCs right here. All right. You just want to keep it next to you. Anytime you have a Hebrew class, you want to keep this next to you so that you can say, okay, I don't recognize that letter. Let me look at it. Oh, okay, that's what it is. And the name of the letter is the sound of the letter. So if you know this is a kuf right here, kuf, k is going to be the sound. Nun, n is going to be the sound. Zayin, z. The first syllable, the sound, that's going to be the sound of the letter. Okay? So this right here, zak'n. What do you think that says?
Zakin.
Zakin, correct. So this word is zakin, which means elder, mature, aged. Okay? So we want to make that feminine. How do we do that? Somebody tell me.
Put the hay on it.
Put the hay on the end. Zakin, nah. We put the hay on the end of this. It is zakina. Zakina. That's how we make that feminine. Okay? So you got that? So you start with the word, which is always in the masculine, but then to make it feminine, you will add the hay to it. This is how we make a word feminine in just about most instances. Okay? So that's important. So now let's go and let's make another word feminine. Okay? All right. Okay, we're going to do one more word that we're going to convert from masculine to feminine. All right. Okay, this one is going to be word that means male or man. All right. Okay. Anyone know what this letter is here? The block script?
Aleph.
Aleph. Right. Right. What about this?
Yod.
Yod. Yes. And this?
Is it the Sheen?
That's the sheen. Anytime you see this that looks like a W, this is the sheen.
All right.
Okay? That's the sheen. Right? So, how do you say this? Try it.
Aish.
Yes. Aish. Or ish. Yeah. The aleph becomes silent with the yod here. It's like aish. It's like ish.
Okay, yeah.
This is the word which means man in the sense of a male. Adam also means man, but it means man in the sense of humankind.
Human, yeah.
Okay? But this word here, ish, it means male. Now we got to make this feminine. So what do we do in making it feminine?
Put hay on it.
We put a hay on it. Okay. Put a hay on it. Yep. So here we go. And what does it now become?
Isha.
Right. Isha.
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 Right? So we just made this male or masculine word feminine by putting the hay on it. So ish is masculine. Isha is feminine. And that is translated as woman or female. Okay?
All right.
Does everybody catch that?
Mm-hmm.
So most instances when you are going to make a distinction between a masculine word and a feminine word, in most cases what you're going to do is you're going to put the hay on the end of it. Very important to remember. That letter is going to be the one instances to identify. Like, for example, we say the word Torah quite a bit, right? The word Torah, it ends with the hay. So if someone was to ask you, is the word Torah a masculine word or is it a feminine word? And I just mentioned that it ends with the hay, right?
It's a feminine word.
It's a feminine word. The word Torah is feminine. Okay? So when you look at the word and you see the hay on the end, you are able to identify it as being feminine. Okay? In that instance, that word cannot be masculine because it isn't. Some words are like that. Some words can be masculine or feminine. Where if you take a word that is generally masculine, you can make it feminine by putting the hay on it. And when we put the hay on it, when we make a masculine word to be feminine, the reason why we do it is because of the context. So if the context is such that a female is being described related to a particular noun or adjective, then we will have to write the word, whether it's the noun and the adjective, we'll have to write it in the feminine if it is presented to be describing a female. Okay? And we went through some of that in our previous lectures where we showed the differences. But as we're reviewing the assignment, I just want us to go through it so that you can be able to understand how to navigate through the assignment. So what we're going to do right now, I'm going to use one instance here where we do use the feminine. So in your assignment in section B, it says give the feminine of the following, and it has two words given. And what you have to do, we have to take the two words and make the two words that are presented in masculine form to be presented in the feminine form. Okay? All right. And also what will help in that assignment, for example, when you see words here, like here's the assignment, the exercises.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be looking at this part right here where my finger is, okay? If you go to the assignment and you look at the previous notes, you will see the words and the translation of those words so that you can know what the meanings of them are, okay? That's the purpose of each of the lessons, is to help you to understand the meanings of the words and also how to take a masculine and turn that into feminine. So here we go. We're going to do ish. And I'll give some space for it. And that's Tazadi, Ein, Yod, and let's see that. Is that a resh? Yeah, that's a resh. That's Zaire. So we have the Zadi, Ein, Yod, resh. Okay. This is the Zadi. It has a TS sound. Most instances, it has a Z sound, but when you see this letter, like couched in the middle of a word, it will have the TS sound. Sometimes when you are pronouncing it, you will pronounce like the first part of Tazadi, which would be like T and then Z. Like we're familiar with the name Melchizedek, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, Melchizedek, that's how it's called. But Melchi, it would be like Melchizedek. That's how you would say it, Melchizedek. Not just Melchizedek. If you had the Zayin, which, the Zayin, that's just Z, but Tazadi has the TS sound. It gives you a Z sound, but depending on how you are pronouncing the word, you will sometimes pronounce the T and the S, like flowing out together. So this would be Melchizedek, is how you would say Melchizedek. That's the way you should say it.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the Tazadi. So this would be Zaire. Zaire. When you have the Yod, remember when you have the Yod in the middle of a word, this is with our vowels. Remember we talked about the vowels?
Mm-hmm.
We talked about the fact that before the Nikudot were created by the Masoretes, which gives you all of your vowel designations and points and all of that. Prior to that time, there was an understanding in the more ancient Hebrew that there were vowels in the Hebrew. Okay, and we discussed that in the first lecture that we had, where we were told, like during the first century, they knew that during the first century because Josephus said that the name of the Almighty, the Tetragrammaton of the Almighty, that was etched on the headpiece of the Kohen Haggadah, that they were 4 vowels. He didn't say 4 letters, he said 4 vowels. And what that tells us is that there was an understanding that within the Hebrew language, even though today when you are taught modern Hebrew, they tell you that Hebrew does not have vowels, all it has is just consonants. But that is not completely correct. The reason why that is stated is because in presenting modern Hebrew, the teachers want to basically prepare the student to understand the system based upon the Masoretes and how they have given the vowel system, because in their understanding of things, they want to ensure that the phonetics of the Hebrew language is pronounced. Okay, but in more ancient Hebrew, we know that the Yod is a vowel. We know that the He is a vowel. Okay, we know that the Wav is a vowel. We know that. Okay, so here we have this vowel here, the Yod. The vowel of the Yod gives you the I sound. Okay, we have the Yah. Is this instead of this being Yah, it would be I because it's a vowel. So this is Zaire. Zaire. So this word phrase here, if we're going to make it feminine, we have to write it with the Hey. So we have the Ish, We have right here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Put the hay on there.
Mm-hmm.
But because we put the hay here, we also have to put the hay on this also. Okay? Got it?
Mm-hmm.
That's just the way it goes. So that's important that you remember that. This Isha Taza'ira. Okay? Everybody see that?
Mm-hmm.
And that means young. Yeah. That's what it means. It means young. Okay? So it's basically saying this would be young man, young. Basically, it's young man. This right here is saying young woman or woman young.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? This word here is an adjective that describes the noun. So if you have a noun followed by an adjective, you have to make both of them female, feminine. Okay? That's something you want to remember. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now, let's go and look at another part. We'll look at another part of the homework. This is where we're going to translate into English. When you do this part of your homework, this is section C, where it says translate into English. So right here, this part right here, we're going to translate this into English. So to help you to be able to translate this into English, these words that you see here, you need to find those words in your notes because there's a vocabulary. If you recall, we always start with a vocabulary with the lesson. So you want to look at those vocabulary words. You want to identify those vocabulary words. And when you see them here in your assignment, you want to then put what the meaning of the word is so you can translate. All right? So let's look at this. Number one, we have the mem. We have the sheen. We have the pay. We also have the het. Anybody remember what the het looks like? If you don't, the block script of the het looks like this. The het and the hay look very similar.
Mm-hmm.
The only difference is that the het has a line that connects to the top horizontal bar. The hay doesn't.
I know that.
So this is the hay right here. See this line going up? It doesn't connect to this top horizontal bar. See that?
Mm-hmm.
But over here, the het does. It connects. Okay? See that?
Mm-hmm.
That's how you know the difference. I had to lip over a little too far. But that's what it looks like. Okay? So, try to pronounce this word. This is the mem. M. This is the what?
Sheen.
Sheen. This is the what?
The pay.
Pay. Yes, this is the pay. This is the het. This is the hay. So let's try to Mishpoka.
Mishpoka.
Say it again.
Mishpoka.
Mishpoka.
Okay. Anybody know that word? You know what that word means?
Family.
Mishpoka.
Family.
Family. There you go. Mishpoka. Family. So we've heard that word many a times, right?
Mm-hmm.
Heard that word. Mishpoka. No. Mishpoka. Mem. Sheen. Mish. Po. Ha. Mishpocha. See that? That's family. So if you look in the notes of the lecture for lesson 4, you will see the word mishpocha, and you'll see that it will say family. Okay? You want to get very familiar with your vocabulary. Okay? It's important you want to do that. Now, mishpocha here, because it has the hay on the end of it, what does that tell us about this word? It's a feminine word, right? Now, on the list of adjectives here in the notes for lesson 4, under feminine, you'll see the word mishpah under feminine. Okay? This side right here is the side where all the feminine words are. Way at the bottom is where you see mishpah. Down at the bottom over here.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you see it. It's right there. Family. So, in the section C that has to do with translating into English, there are 2 words given here. There's mishpokah, that's the first word, which we see right here. Okay. Now we want to look at the second word. I'm going to write the second word right below this one because they go together in the translating. Okay. So, second word we have is, we have the Gimel, the Dalet. See, is that the Wav? Yeah, I think that's the Wav. Yeah. Lamed, yeah, I know what it is. And the Hay. So, see this thing right here?
Mm-hmm.
This is the Gimel. Gimel has what sound?
The G sound.
G sound, yes, G. Gimel, this is the Dalet.
D sound.
D sound for Dalet. This is the Wav. Wav is in the middle of a word. It's a vowel. Anybody remember the vowel sound for the Wav?
Ooh.
Ooh, yes, ooh, ooh, ooh or o. Okay? Vowel for the Wav is, everybody say it, ooh
Ooh.
or o.
Oh.
It's the vowel sound for the Wav, ooh or o. Just like A, E, I, O, and U.
Mm-hmm.
Uwav, ooh, and the o. When you know the names of these letters, they really will be self-explanatory to tell you what the vowel will be. The Wav, it is, the name of it is Uwav, 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 Uwav. In later times, after the 2nd century, they associated this letter with the V sound and it became known as the Vav. That's not the original name for the Wav.
Yeah.
Okay? But as a vowel, it has the U or the O. Okay? This is the Lamed. Okay? The Lamed. L. And here's the Hey again. Hey on the end has a vowel sound as ah. Okay? So this is a vowel too. The hey at the end of a word is a vowel too. It's always vowels up. Now, if the hey is at the beginning of a word, it acts as a consonant. Ha, yeah. Like ha olam.
Yeah.
The word olam means universe in Hebrew. Ha in front of the word olam means the universe. All right? Definite article. So here, let's pronounce this. Ka
Do.
do la. Gedola. Gedola. Now, because the hey is at the end, this word is what? Feminine. Now, the reason why the word is feminine is because these two words are together.
Mm-hmm.
Since they are together, mishpoka has a hey on it. So this is being described as a large family because the word gedolah means large, it means big. Without the hey, you have just gadol. Gadol means big, large, high. Like when we say kohen ha gadol. Kohen means what? Y'all should know that word.
Priest.
Means priest. Ha in front of the gadol, ha in front means what? The large, the big. That's what that would mean. When we say Kohen HaGadol, we're saying the high priest, the top priest, the big priest. That's what it means. Okay. In this instance, this word here means large, but since this is a feminine, we have the hey here. We have to have the hey there as well. Okay. It means what? Family, large family.
Mm-hmm.
So this is mishpoka gedolah. That's number 1 of section 3, where it asks you to translate into English, right here. Okay. So you see what we just did?
Yeah.
I'm sure you probably may have been stumped in trying to translate. So what you do is you look for these words in the vocabulary.
Mm-hmm.
Find out the meaning of the words in the vocabulary. When you get it, then you want to translate. So all of the work that you have here, when it comes to the translation, you have all of the information available to you in the notes to be able to navigate through doing the work.
Yeah.
Okay? Here's the vocabulary right here.
Mm-hmm.
You have the words, and you also have the English translation in the middle section. See that?
Yeah.
So here's the masculine words here, feminine words here. Here's the translation in the middle. This word here is tob, means good. Right in the middle it says good. Over here you have tova, where you have the hey on the end. Now, I know you can't see it well because today I specifically did not put this information up on the screen because I just wanted to go through the assignment. I wanted us to review the assignment so that it can help you to navigate through the work. All right. So what you do is you go through this, the notes, you look for these words, and it gives you the definition. Like right here, it has gedol, the word we just had up. Right here, gedol la, and gedol, if we take off the hey right here, it's here.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
You have the masculine on this side, you have the feminine on this side. So when you look up the words in your assignment, you want to go back to the vocabulary. You want to say, okay, let me find that word. What word, Hebrew word, matches?
Yeah.
And that's what's going to help you to develop a greater vocabulary. So you want to begin to do that. And also, you want to practice on recognizing the letters. That's important. You have to know how to recognize the letters so that you can pronounce the letters. All right? So when you see them, you'll start to pronounce them in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
You look at it, you identify it, you pronounce it. If you don't recognize it, you get this sheet. These are things you're going to have with you when you're going through in your studies, in your homework. Because this is important. This is how you learn. This is how you get it in you. It's by going over it over and over again. Also, I can't stress this enough, but you want to take time to write these letters down. So one of the assignments that I want you to do is to write this out, like of all of the alphabet. Aleph, Bet, Gimel, Dalet, Hey, Vav, Zayin, Het, Tet, Yod, Kaf, Lamed, Mem, Nun, Samik, Ayin, Pei, Zadi, Kuf, Resh, Shin, Tau. You want to be able to go all the way down, write down every single one of those letters. Just like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, you know how you'll write down?
Mm-hmm.
Do that with these. Do a set of the Hebrew, Paleo Hebrew, do a set of the block script. Do 5 each. The reason why I'm asking you that is because that's going to help you to learn how to write the script, because writing the script doesn't just come like that. You have to practice it. It's different. Your mind has to be able to connect with your writing so that you can write this. And when you see it, it's like, oh, I understand that thing right there is a sheen. Okay, this thing right here is a het, but if I don't go all the way up, it's a hey.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like you want to be able to know the difference between the block script resh and the block script dalet. That's something that that oftentimes gets mixed up, because sometimes with the block script, you don't see much of the curvature with the resh. For example, this right here is the resh. It looks like a backwards R, right?
Mm-hmm.
Except it just doesn't have that lip up that we're accustomed to. But the R gets its origin from the resh. So it gets its origin from, okay? When the Greeks got a hold to the lettering system, they flipped it backwards or inverted it. So the letters that we're accustomed to a lettering system that has actually been inverted. This is the resh, the R sound. To us today, it looks like this. It looks like this, right?
Yeah.
This came from that.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't have this little lip up here, right? Now, dalet, this is the dalet. Dalet has a horizontal bar across and a vertical one going down and a little lip hanging over. See that little lip hanging over?
Yeah.
That's how you know the difference between dalet and resh. Because in the block script, when you look at the printed block script, you don't have as much curvature there. Very little curvature. So the way you identify the dalet from the resh is that the dalet will have a longer horizontal piece at the top. That's the way to identify the printed script. Okay? See that? But in writing it, this has a curvature, this one doesn't. Because more oftentimes than not, when you are reading Hebrew, this is what you're going to come across. You're going to come across the Hebrew Aramaic script. You're not going to come across the Paleo script when you're reading text. This is what you're going to come across. So I want to get you accustomed to recognizing. But also I want to get you accustomed to knowing the Paleo Hebrew script, because if you go and you want to read some Samaritan Pentateuch text, that's not going to be in this script. It's going to be in the Paleo style script. Okay? So that's important to know those differences. It's important. But some of the letters you want to be able to know the differences. And the reason why I say that is because you want to be able to recognize the difference. But the reason why I show these two is because there was a mistake made in scriptural translation, because some ancient texts where it had the resh, or they thought it was the resh when it really was a dalet. And the reason why is because over time, the ink had faded off. You know, like right here, see this little lip right there? So if that goes away, and that part of it goes away, it starts to look like a resh.
Mm-hmm.
See that? So in a biblical text, when you have these words there, if you don't know that this is a dalet, you think it's a resh, you're going to get a completely different word. All right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why it's important to know the differences. Knowing the differences is vital. Because when you start seeing words show up and you may be involved in reading text, and then if you're involved in translating texts or whatever, you can be able to decipher. Because sometimes when you're reading the text and the text may have a letter there, I'm talking about reading like an ancient text. You're looking at a photograph of a ancient text, and when you're looking at the letter might not be the letter that it's supposed to be, because it may be damaged. And there's a lot of instances where when you're dealing with the old ancient text, that there's some letters that are you can't recognize it. There's some instances where you can't recognize the letters. You don't know what it is, and it's due to damage. All right. So when you assume that it is a particular word, and the way we assume that there are certain particular words in the text, it comes because of some other translations, some other copies, later copies of the Hebrew text that are already available, and they'll take those and compare it to this newfound ancient text. Okay. Just to confirm that, okay, yeah, the context is fitting, and they want to make sure that the right letter is being used. Okay. So that's important to know. But when you're writing it, it's easier to recognize the differences than when you have the print. Okay. So those were the things that I wanted to go over with reference to reviewing the assignment. Now here's one thing, and maybe we can do this one and then go ahead and finish it up. Because there's a part in here under section E where it says translate the following into Hebrew. And so there are some phrases here. Number one, it says from a house. Two, it says good evening. Another one, it says without the book. So anybody familiar with how to translate good evening into Hebrew? So let me get this. So here we have, I'm going to write it like this. Let's see what you all know. So this word right here, good, right here.
Mm-hmm.
What is that word in Hebrew?
Tob.
Tob. Okay, so what we're going to start off with, we're going to Write it down. Right? We got told, right? All right. So we have the tet. This is the tet in the block script. That's the tet. That's what it looks like. Okay? That's the tet. What's the next letter? Tob. To-o.
The Wav.
Wav, yeah, O. So it's the Wav. Here's the Wav. Tob. B. B. Tob. What's the last letter?
The Bait.
Bait. All right. This is what the bait looks like. One of the things you can see, like with the bait, think of the bait like this. Has anybody ever played hangman? Have you ever played hangman? You know, you.
It does look like that.
Okay.
That's
Think of the bait, something like the hangman, but you don't have the line coming down where you have the guy on the noose. Okay. But
Yeah.
it's the block script. You know, you have this line here. You have, think of it like you're making this upside down L right here, and a horizontal line at the bottom with a lip across right there. That's the bait. So this is tob. That means good. Okay?
Okay.
Means good. And then we have evening. Evening. Okay? So, what's the word for evening in Hebrew? Anybody remember? Areb. Areb. Okay.
And so is that word in the vocabulary part in the beginning of it as well?
It should be.
Yeah.
I'm looking right now. Tob is
I
there.
remember seeing that one.
Tob is there. Evening is not there.
I remember seeing that one.
Evening is not there. But it would be in the vocabulary of the other lessons.
Oh, okay.
So what you would do, you would go, you would find it. But do this. Pull it up right there. I want you to do the work. Pull it up on your phone and tell me how to spell Aref with the Hebrew. I want you to do it.
And is it Arev or would it be Arev?
Aref, just look up, put in evening in Hebrew.
Okay, I got you.
Or Hebrew word for evening.
So I think it would, is it the Ein at first?
What does it say?
Well, it just shows the letters here.
What is the letters?
I don't know what that first letter is.
Hmm?
I think it's Ein. Dalet.
No. It's the Resh.
Resh. Oh, Resh is down here. It kind of looks similar.
Yeah.
Areb.
Oh yeah, already.
Ein is correct for the first letter.
Yeah, then Resh.
Ein,
Resh.
Resh, B. Areb.
Areb.
Okay? So you see right here? Areb, Ein, Resh, Beit. Areb. Now, the reason why it means evening, because the Ein in the Paleo Hebrew is a what?
The eyeball.
Eyeball, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Resh is the head of a man, right? So the Paleo Hebrew, you have the Ein, the Resh, which is the head of a man, floor plan of a tent is the bait. Areb, it means your eyes, you're looking with your head facing the house. It has the idea of you're going into the house.
Mm-hmm.
And the time that you went into the house in ancient culture means that you are finishing your workday and you're going into the house. That means it's the evening time. Sun is going down because they worked from sun up to sundown. So it's looking in the direction of the house. That's evening. That's the time of the day when you do this. You finish working. What does everybody do when they finish working if they're out away from the house?
You go home.
They go home. They go in the direction of the house.
Mm-hmm.
So this represents evening. Okay? This is the block script of it. So we're saying good evening. So we have Tob, Areb, but the way that you would say this, we have it backwards. Okay? I did the first word that I saw and then wrote down the following word. Good is an adjective describing evening. Okay? So when you write this in Hebrew, you have to put the noun first, the thing first. So we put evening, which is Areb. Areb, that's what we put first. Areb, and then we write the word Tov. All right. So here it is. This is Areb, which means evening good. All right. The adjective always follows the noun in the Hebrew. Okay. We always start off with the noun. So that's something that you have to remember. Everybody catch that?
Mm-hmm.
You always start off with the noun. Now this says good evening, but what is being described in this phrase? What is being described?
Oh, the evening.
Evening is being described.
Mm-hmm.
We're told that the evening is good.
Yeah.
Right? So evening is the subject. Evening is the noun. So we start with the noun in Hebrew as we read from right to left. Evening, good. That's how we would translate it. But for us to understand it, it's good evening.
Mm-hmm.
But you would say evening good. Okay? So that's how you would translate or you would write this phrase in English into Hebrew. Right? You all see that?
Mm-hmm.
Now, what I would suggest is that when you're working through the homework, that what you should do is at least start with finding the words that translate from English to Hebrew and from Hebrew to English. You want to find that out first and foremost. But if you're taking a phrase that's in English and you're going to translate it into Hebrew, you have to remember that you start with the noun first and then the adjective following the noun. Okay? You also need to determine whether you're going to make it in masculine or feminine. Because if we were going to make this in masculine, we just leave it like it is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But there's those differences there that you have to know when to make a phrase masculine and feminine. Okay? All right. Anyone have any other questions about anything? All right. Was this helpful tonight?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. So trust that you are able to get into the assignment, navigate through the assignment, use the resources that you already have use the notes that you have for that assignment. Go through the vocabulary. If you don't see the word there, that might be in the exercises. If you don't see the word there, like if it's a Hebrew word, go and look it up. Go online, copy it, put it online so that you can see it.
That sounds good.
And find the definition for it. All right?
Mm-hmm.
But do your due diligence to find out how to translate it. Okay? All right. Then we will have a word of prayer and close. Father Yahuah, we thank you once again for another opportunity to provide instruction in Hebrew and helping the students to be able to navigate through the assignments and also to understand the rules with regard to the language. We thank you, Father Yah, for all that has been learned. We thank you that our understanding of the scriptures are being enhanced as we learn. Now be glorified, be praised, be exalted. May each of the students be edified, and may they continue to grow. In the mighty name of Yahshua, we bless you. Amen.
Right.
Well, the Almighty be praised. I do want to thank all of those who have joined with us by live stream. I trust that you have been edified and that you have learned something as we have gone over a review of the assignment that is a part of this course. I trust that some of the review that we have covered has helped each of you to be able to learn how to navigate and understand the language, and that it is something that will be taken as beneficial, that you can use as tools as you navigate through the scripture text. We do encourage you to join us in our next gathering and teaching time. In our midweek time of teaching on this Wednesday, we meet at 7:30 p.m. We ask you to join us. We meet at 7:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. For those of you who may live outside of the state in different time zones, please join us and hear what the Almighty has to say. Well, the Most High bless you and your families. Shalom.
Shalom.